time na nawala yung self-worth ko.
You know, you have to work to help your husband with the finances, to help prepare finances for your children for their future.
Kasi dito sa Pilipinas, pag age mo ng 35, wala na. Para kasing etsapwera ka na.
And it feels like hindi ko alam kung paano ko mag-gain yung confidence ko pag naging mom na sila. Parang nawawala na yung career path nila.
Kasi na-fed up ako sa sobrang traffic. So, papasok, dahil madaling araw, either mag-grab ako or mag-aangkas, which is malaki-laki yung expenses.
The time spent with your kids and family are far more important than any job title out there.
Nag-decide ako na maghanap ng online job at nakakuha nga ako. Sobrang saya ko talaga. Kaya tinulungan ko rin yung iba kong mga mommy friends at nagkaroon rin sila ng sarili nilang online job. Kaya doon ako na-inspire at nag-decide na simula ng Filipina home-based moms.
FH Moms Community was created for mothers, for single women, for women professionals and entrepreneurs, for women overseas Filipino workers, for differently abled women, and even for young at heart women. FH Moms is a women community.
Nung nagsimula yung FH Moms, hindi ko in-expect na ganito ka magiging malaki. Ngayon, meron na kaming more than 250,000 members nationwide. Dati, ang tingin ng mga tao sa amin, community lang. No? Ngayon, social enterprise na kami with different projects na tumutulong sa mga kababaihan.
We have free webinars about freelancing, entrepreneurship, parenting, and personal growth. We offer online short courses as well as mastery courses with trainers' 1-year support. We also run a scholarship program and an internship program. We also facilitate charity activities where we are joined by community members as volunteers. Job matching program is something they can also look forward to, as well as e-commerce program. And to celebrate motherhood, we also have online bootcamp for kids. We also have the computer rent-to-own program for members who need assistance in acquiring a computer set. Aspire to be a strong-willed, independent woman.
Mas gusto kong maging productive at saka naniniwala ako sa continuous learning.
Inspire other women.
Everyone was uplifting each other. Everyone was trying to help each other. In this world, you have to be more kind. You have to be more helpful because everyone is fighting their own battles, and you have to understand, you have to empathize, and that is what FH Moms is doing with all the moms out there. Even if you're not a mom, you would feel welcome.
Empower each woman to be in their fullest potential.
And most importantly, Mommy MK and the team model humility and generosity. Talagang ito yung very evident, which impacted me the most. So it gave me the desire to share freely to others what I learned freely from the FH Moms community. And I've always loved the community, the motive of the community, that is to change the world one mom at a time. Good job, FH Moms.
Aspire, inspire, empower. Nothing is stronger than a community of women lifting each other up.
To be among women who have genuinely tried to help people. This is something that I feel passionately about, and then this is something that I saw in FH Moms.
God is good. Kasi parang naturo sa akin itong FH Moms na pinakita sa akin na kahit nasa bahay ka, kahit nag-aalaga ka ng anak mo, it won't stop na dun ka lang. Yun lang yung pwede mong gawin.
Without this community, I'm not here in this situation. So, FH Moms po yung nag-guide and nag-mold sa akin to be the best working at home mom I could ever be.
Ang pinakamalaking impact sa FH Moms sa akin is their quote, which is moving forward, giving back. That's the very essence of FH Moms eh.
That's what I like about this group kasi we encourage and inspire each other to keep dreaming, to chase our dreams. It's actually a big impact kasi if you are losing hope and wala ka ng gana and all, but because of this page, mapapasana all ka.
Dahil sa online job, natupad ko yung mga pangarap ko at Ang pinakapangarap ko na lang ay matupad yung pangarap ng lahat ng mga mommies. Huwag tayong titigil na abutin lahat ng mga pangarap natin, masipagan pa natin at huwag tayong susuko. Kaya kung feeling nyo hindi kayo techie, feeling nyo hindi pasok ang edad nyo para dito sa online freelancing, huwag nyong iisipin yon kasi sobrang daming opportunities ang pwedeng ibigay sa inyo online. At nandito ang Filipino home-based moms para suportahan kayo. Para sa mga naghahanap ng online job at gusto ring matuto pagdating sa online business, you can join Filipino Home-Based Moms Facebook group. My name is MK Bertulfo, CEO and founder of Filipino Home-Based Moms, and our goal is to change lives one mom at a time.
Okay, so how's everyone doing? I'm just trying to make sure. Let me know if you guys can hear me, if you guys can see me bright and early. Let me know in the comments also. So hello and good evening to all of the mommies who are watching tonight, all the mommies who are eager to also learn what we're about to talk about tonight. So I'm just trying to make sure. I'm gonna just go into the FH Moms live so we can see if you all can hear me. Let me know again because I would really love to be able to know. So loud and clear. So a lot of people are hearing but not seeing. So let me see. Let me see if you can fix that. Here we can see. Okay, good to know that my audio is working. Let me see if we can fix the video problems. Let me try. Sharing the slides, if you can see that. Okay. Let me see if we can fix this. Okay, so I think we're having a little bit of technical problems. Please stay until we can hopefully fix this. Let me see. Yeah, I can see that on the Facebook we can't. I can't see me. Apologies for the technical issues. Let's see if we can fix it in a little bit. So tonight, for those who are just listening and can't see me yet, we're going to be talking about how to be irreplaceable at work. That is going to be our focus for tonight at least. So for those who can hear me, let me know where you're coming from, where you're listening from at this time. And let me know if basically, are you someone who wants to be irreplaceable at work? Are you someone who wants to stay where you're at if you already have a work from home job? And if you don't, a lot of the tips that I'll be sharing tonight are going to be tips that will help you also get a job, not just some being irreplaceable at work. There we go. I can see myself. Awesome. Alright, so let me share this already. So hi everyone. So we fixed the little glitch there. So again, let me know where you're watching or listening from. If you just have me running in the background at your home, whether you're just listening on your earphones or you're just watching me live, please let me know. So hopefully, okay, video, okay, awesome. A lot of you can now see me, so perfect. So like I said, tonight we're going to be talking about how to become irreplaceable at work, how to be someone who is in either in long term or have your clients come back again and again, which is long term is what we want. Is we want to have a boss who knows what we can do, is now going to start recommending us to other people. They're going to keep coming back to working with us over and over again. So that is our goal for tonight. So you are encouraged to, now that you see my slides, take notes. Please have your notebook or iPad, if you have an iPad or a tablet, whatever it is that you're using, please take notes, because a lot of what I'm going to be sharing tonight are tips from an employer. As someone, I've been hiring online for about the last 6 years, and it's been a very interesting journey being someone who was on the other side, being unemployed and now an employer. And of course, make sure to share this on social media. Feel free to grab a screenshot or to just take a photo from your laptop if you're watching, and I would love to reshare. And you can use the hashtag virtual ate or work anywhere VA, as in virtual ate as well, and to ask questions. Now, for those who have no idea who I am, my name is Lai Lacaba. I am the virtual ate. I have actually been working from home since I was 15 years old. So I was really young, barely, not even legal, not even barely legal, not even legal. And I've been in this online space for the last 10 years. And it's been an interesting journey, again, starting out as a blogger, as a writer, and now being able to run my own agency. So it's a path that is fun, exciting, and if that's something that you want to go into, it's definitely possible. So I also post videos on my YouTube channel about how to work from home, and also on my TikTok. It's all the same usernames. So if you guys want to connect with me on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, feel free to connect with me there. So before we start, I always talk about this before I start a webinar, which is talking about the Teachability Index. So the Teachability Index is kind of a quick formula that you can easily think about when you're trying to succeed at literally anything, when you're trying to want to do anything in life. You need to have the willingness to learn and the willingness to take action. They go hand in hand when you're trying to, again, succeed or learn anything. So what I mean by this is, if you are someone right now, rate of 1 to 10, who is a 10 on learning, you're willing to learn how to be irreplaceable at work, you're willing to learn how to get bosses to keep recommending you to future clients that you might have. If you're excited to have a long-term career working from home, you're 10. And you need to have the other side though, which is the 10, and it's the willingness to take action. You can't just listen to me talking for the next 45 minutes without having the willingness to take action afterwards, right? So that's why it's a multiplier. It's 10 by 10, so that's 100. But some people are, again, really excited to learn, really willing to absorb what I'm going to say, but if they're not willing to take action, it's going to be just a 0. But even if you're just a 5 on learning and 5 on action and you're 25, that's still better than being a 0. So let me know in the comments where in this spectrum you are. Are you a 5 on learning and 6 on action? So that's 30. Are you a 7 on learning? So there's a little bit of math, but hopefully it's easy math, where you're at tonight on learning how to be irreplaceable at work, or how to have long-term clients who will keep recommending you to future clients. Please let me know. I would love to know. So I will be pausing from time to time to grab my water bottle and drink from it. So then it's also a pause for me to be able to see and catch up with your comments. So we've got 10 out of 10. So that's very amazing. Very cool. And again, I do encourage that if you know anyone who right now has just started on their career or are just starting to work from home, feel free to tag your friends and share this live. This is going to be available as a replay on YouTube and on Facebook. You can watch it at any time, but it's only when you're here live that I can answer your questions as well as we go through this training. So I was just gonna ask, are you 10 out of 10? And there is a ton of people who said they are a 10 out of 10. So as a recap, every first Thursday of the month, I'm coming on here on at FH Moms to teach soft skills. So there's 4 different, I guess, lectures that I do or trainings that I do. The first one is teaching about what are the soft skills that are that you need when it comes to working from home or having an online career. So we usually talk about how it's always character over skills, because your character you can bring to any job, while your skill is just to a specific job. And I also talk about what are the top 10. It's written and voice communication. It is time management, creativity, problem solving, teamwork, adaptability, self-confidence, self-motivation, decision-making, and leadership. It's these 10 that if you develop even just 3, you are going to be someone who is easy to hire, easy to decide to hire, or easy to decide to promote, because you're someone who is already above a lot of people who don't even think about developing their soft skills. That is why we focus on that. You could be the best graphic artist to to your employer, but if you're not really someone who has a lot of problem solving skills or leadership skills, it's going to be harder for them to decide, like, oh, I want to give this person a raise, or I'm going to give this person a promotion, or I want to recommend this person to a friend of mine who is looking for their skills, because they're not confident that you're going to keep being this amazing graphic designer because you don't have soft skills. Next is and you guys can search for the replays on this, or just watch a future one where I talk about communication skills for working online. So best practices are, asking questions, being open, summarize, show up consistently, be kind, especially to yourself, personalize, double check the messages, and practice and get feedback. So these are the best practices if you want to develop your communication skills. And then last month I did the training on how to be confident on video, from video calls to vlogs. And how to be confident is know your why, create your goal self, celebrate your wins, be mindful of body language, keep learning new things, self-care, and to practice, of course, being on video. So again, if you want to watch any of those trainings, you can go back, or you can just make sure to catch my training every first Thursday of the month at 8 p.m. So let me know if you've watched any of my other trainings as well. I would love to know, to see also who else have watched my other trainings. So today our goal, like I said, is to become irreplaceable at work. But you'll notice that I've put an asterisk on there. I've put a kind of a caution or warning, because the word irreplaceable can be appealing, can be something that, you saw that the title is how to be irreplaceable at work. I want to be someone who works here long term. I want to do this training. But in reality, there is a better way to be someone who works long term in a work or a career. It's to become indispensable. Now, if you are someone who is irreplaceable, the truth is you're the only one who can do the job. It also means that things stop when you're not around, and only you know the systems, only you know how things run, and it's harder to grow. And one of the things that this means is you can't take a day off, you can't take a holiday, you can't take a sick leave because things fall apart because you're not there. So that's what being irreplaceable, the flip side of being irreplaceable, looks like. If you were indispensable, you can shift to different positions in the company. So when I started, before I started my agency, I used to be a CEO of a US publishing company, and I started as a book editor. So when I was book editor, I was able to shift to becoming the agent for the authors, to becoming one of the marketing assistants, to becoming VP of marketing, until I got to CEO. I was able to shift into different positions and divisions even, because I learned how to be indispensable. Next is things grow when you're not around. You're able to take that day off. People can be confident and can breathe even when you're not there. You also help improve systems. You help make things more efficient and effective, and making sure that, again, things can happen without you. And of course, there's going to be unlimited growth. If you're someone who's really focused on becoming indispensable, on becoming someone who is able to move around into different positions in the company, you just have that mindset of like, okay, I'm going to learn this now. I'm going to learn this skill. In 2017, I learned 12 different skills, and basically I learned one skill a month because I was someone who's now indispensable in the company. I just had more freedom, and that's basically the biggest thing that being indispensable gives you, is you just have more freedom. So really, this training is how to become indispensable at work. So what does indispensable not look like? By the way, I do encourage, if you have any questions at all, or if I'm talking too fast, please let me know. I would not mind at all, because I would just love to know. So let me see, and I'll go back later on. If I miss any questions, I'll go back and answer any of your questions. So indispensable does not look like, or does not mean that you're going to be in the same position forever. When you're irreplaceable, you're going to be, you could be, head of marketing, but that's kind of your cap. That's kind of your ceiling. That's your limit. So that's what irreplaceable is. So when you're indispensable, it does not mean that you're going to be in that same position forever. There's more room for growth. It also does not mean, like I said, that everything starts and stops with you. It does not mean that a meeting, you have to actually be there before it can start, or you have to be there before it can end. Things can flow without you. But it also does not mean that you're never getting fired. Businesses close, businesses have to downsize, but it does mean that you have better security than people who aren't even thinking about this, who aren't even taking this training. And again, this is not just how to be indispensable at work. It can also be how to be an easier hire when it comes to applying for jobs online. So what does indispensable look like? So it does mean that you're someone who they value to move to different parts of the company. It does mean that you can get direct mentorship from your boss. That's one of the things that I got a little bit early on when I started working for the book publishing company, was I was able to ask my boss like insight or questions of like, hey, how do you think I can do this better? Or is there any feedback that I can do so I can get that promotion? So you get this relationship with your boss that is better because you're someone who you've shown them that you're willing to do more than what is asked from you. And it also means, like I said, that you become more easily employable. You're someone that, even as they're reading your resume or your application letter, they're thinking, wait, this person, I want to work with this person. So that's what indispensable look like. So who here is ready to learn how to become indispensable? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if this is something that you even want in your life. Do you want to be indispensable? Do you want to be someone that people look up to, that people see as a leader, that people see as easily hireable or easily employable? Is this something that you actually want for yourself? Let me know before we continue. We have a couple of me's already. Awesome. So this is gonna be fun. We're gonna make this fun. So the thing about being indispensable, it's all about giving value. That's the biggest thing about it. A lot of the time, we think about a workplace as an exchange. I put this many hours, therefore you pay me these many hours. So the crazy thing about that is, if you want to be indispensable, you have to do more than you are being asked or paid to be able to get more value later on. I was willing to be paid 15,000 pesos to start because I was willing to learn. I was willing to make mistakes, because when you are starting not really, really low, I don't recommend starting at 15,000, but when you're willing to actually start that at a point anywhere, when you're willing, especially if you have no experience, when you're willing to start at that point, you're willing to experiment. You're given more freedom to experiment, because they're not going to worry that you're going to F something up, or you're going to mess something up. So that's why if you really want to learn how to be indispensable, you have to think, what are the ways that I can give value? So that's what we're going to cover tonight. So first thing is, if you want to be indispensable at work, you have to get to know yourself. You can only show up if you know who you're showing off. Kind of like how you know that your phone is has the best camera, super fast, you can play games on it, you can watch YouTube videos because the internet is faster for some reason. it's because you know what your phone is capable of. So you need to know who you are, so you know what you're capable of, so you can show that off. You need to have a goal. And I know this has been said so many times, but you are, at least in my experience of working with a lot of people, interviewing people for jobs, interviewing people for my podcast, I have learned that people who have a goal are more attractive, or are more, you become drawn to them because they're going somewhere, instead of someone who doesn't even have a clear goal for themselves. So that's why have a goal is so important, because you are able to position yourself or frame yourself that I am a person who is going somewhere, whether or not it's with this company or not. So then they want to see that growth. They want to see where you want to go. Next is you want to know your why. And I talked about this in How to Be Confident on video, because it's going to be so much easier for you to be confident about who you're showing off if you know what is your why. So for example, for me, my why of being able to show up here on FH Moms, or show up on my YouTube videos, or show up in my agency, is my why is to be able to get to the point where I can teach, or I can have 1 million Filipinos working from home. Because I grew up with my dad as an OFW. I would only see him a few times a year, and I want less children to go through that of not seeing their parents, at home, or even just in the same city. So that's my why. That's what drives me. That's why I have an agency where I have executive assistants pairing them with entrepreneurs. So you need to know your why. You need to know what drives you. And it can be super simple. It doesn't have to be this big goal. It took me 5 years to figure out that was my why. You just start with wherever you're at. For me, when I started out working online, my why was just, it was fun. It was fun for me to work online. It was fun for me to learn all of these skills. So find out what is your why. Next is get to know your values. There's a ton of lists out there where you can get to know what are the things that you value in your life. For example, for me, it's curiosity. I always want to know what happens next. I love reading fiction books that are, put me on the edge of my seat. I hate them at the same time, but I love them. One of my values is constantly learning, or constantly growing, which explains, how I became CEO when I was 20 years old. It's getting to know what are the things that if you were going to describe yourself to other people, that you would want to say about yourself. Next is you want to get to know your limits. You want to get to know what are the things that you can't do, so then you can ask for help later on. So for example, for me, I know that one of my limits is, and I'm working on this, is sometimes I suck at prioritizing. I could have 10 tasks and I would want to do everything. So of course that's never going to work, but I know that about myself. So I had to learn to take a pause every time, and then learn to prioritize, or ask my mentor to help me prioritize with me. So you have to know your limits, because then it's easier for you to say no as easy it is for you to say yes. That is one of the biggest things about learning your limits, is you can say no to things that make you uncomfortable, that you know you can't do, and it makes it easier for you to live truly to who you are. And of course, get to know your strengths and your weaknesses. What are the things that you know you are awesome at? What are the things that you bring to the table? And of course, what are the things that you are either working on, or that is something that has just been a little bit harder for you to learn. So let me know the answer to any of these points. If you have, let me know in the comments if you are someone who knows what your goal is, if you're someone who knows what your why is, who knows your values, you know your limits, you know your strengths and your weaknesses. Let me know in the comments, or at least let me know if you're working towards it. If you're working towards being a person who has a why, if you're working towards a person who knows what their limits or their strengths and their weaknesses are. Let me know in the comments. So let me see, who is, it could be something that is just super simple. Your why, again, doesn't have to be that big thing. It can literally be just that it's fun for you, that you enjoy doing this kind of work. Okay, next is, once you know yourself, it's going to be easier for you to grow yourself. So growing yourself is studying books and courses about business, management, and leadership. So you notice that most of these is, our soft skills, our skills that you can't really super measure, but are skills that later on in life, as you become a manager, as you become a leader, as you maybe want to start your own business, it's going to be so much easier for you to make that shift. A lot of the time when people get promoted to manager, they don't get trained on how to be a manager. So you can take it upon yourself and learn it yourself. Plus, it's going to be so much easier for you to understand your boss when things are going up and down, as it sometimes does in a business, to see things from their point of view, and you can see problems as they pop up and how to solve them. Next is find mentors you can look up to. This is something that has accelerated my whole life because I had a mentor to look up to and ask questions and learn from. So having mentors, it could be Mommy MK, it could be any of the trainers in FH Moms, it could be someone that you don't have to know or they don't have to know you. It could be YouTubers that you look up to who have a life that you want and have been where you are. So you can always know that there's something else that you can be going for. It motivates you, it pushes you to be more than people thought you can be. Next is you need to be committed though to your own growth. It can't be something that, oh, I'm gonna be, work out, I'm going to try lose weight, I'm going to exercise tomorrow, and then 2 days later you just stop. Nothing, it's not a momentum. You have to be committed to it. You can rest. You can definitely rest, from working out every day, but you need to always keep in mind that that momentum is what's going to change your life. Next is, of course, you have to learn from your mistakes. This is something that not a lot of people think about, especially if you weren't raised that way, or you weren't taught to think that way. But learning from your mistakes makes you be that person who then either avoids it, or when it happens, you know how to solve it. And of course, find skills that interest you and be willing to try. Like I mentioned earlier, there was a whole year where I learned one skill a month. One of them was chatbot marketing, one of them was LinkedIn marketing, one of them was copywriting, one of them was how to bake. And a lot of those skills I don't want to do anymore, but at least I know because I tried. I know I don't want them. I know I don't want to pursue them because I tried them. So try to find what are the skills that interests you. Try them. If they don't work, that's fine. If they do work, then you now have this new base. You now have this new identity with yourself that you can also do this. So let me know if any of these are making sense. Let me know if what I am teaching or training you today makes sense for you, where you're at. And hopefully for those who have had jobs before, hopefully these make sense of like, oh, this is what I can do to do better next time. So let me know. Okay, so next is, if you want to be indispensable at work, once you know yourself, you're willing to grow yourself, the next thing, now a little bit more logical and step by step, is you want to assess the company that you work for, or you're the boss that you work for, or whatever business that you are employed in. How you do that is you want to find out what the company's goals and vision are. You want to take a bird's eye view of where the company is at. So doing these two things will help you know where the company is at. You're getting a better sense of, is this company actually something that maybe long term? Is this company that resonates with my why and my goals? Is this a company where I know I can help with my skills? You're not just jumping into a company and working with them for the next 5 years. You want to look at the company that you got hired in, or you're about to get hired in, and assess that, because then it's going to be easier for you to position yourself at the helm, or at the place where you are able to become indispensable. So next is, once you've taken that bird's eye view of the company, you want to connect with others. Connect with your coworkers or the other freelancers who might be working for this person or for this company. And you want to even schedule a one-on-one with your boss if you can. So some bosses are really open to this, and it's really awesome. And when you do that, you want to ask for feedback. You want to ask what else you can do for the company. You also want to pick his brain or her brain of where the company is going from their point of view, beyond the goals and the why and the things that they see. Next is, again, you want to get to know your coworkers. You want to get to know the people who you're working with. You want to get to know the customers or the clients, or at least get a good gist of who they are. You want to ask your coworkers also, is there anything I can help you with? By doing this, you are gathering more information about the company and how it works. And then, of course, you learn to give and receive feedback. Now, this is super important, especially if you want to become a manager, you want to be promoted, is you need to learn how to give and receive feedback. Now, I actually have a couple of books at the end of this training that I really recommend that you read and go through. But when it comes to learning how to give and receive feedback, this is one of the soft skills that when you learn this, when you get this, everything else in your life becomes easier to grow and to move into, because you're able to give people feedback that they can receive, and you're also able to receive feedback that you can then process and see, do I resonate or do I want this feedback in my life or not? And then, of course, you want to learn how to share your knowledge with the people that you work with. You know, if you are a Instagram marketer, you want to give them a few tips of like, hey, you know, as the Instagram marketer, and you're talking, let's say you're talking to the graphic artist, I know that these kinds of images work better. So that way you're sharing your knowledge, so then your job also gets easier at the same time. And the biggest one, and this is one of my favorite concepts to talk about, is always think of your people or the people that you work with as a heart count and not head count. So a head count is just looking at people as just a piece of data. You're looking at people as just numbers to think about. A heart count is when you're looking at them as a person, when you're keeping in mind that they do have a life outside of this job just like you. So when you do this, you are now starting to develop a leadership mindset. You're starting to develop a mindset of someone who goes beyond, who gives more value than what is asked for. And of course, next is then you stand out, which is kind of the natural thing that happens when you start developing being an indispensable person at work. You want to look for problems. Now, I know this sounds weird, but looking for problems mean that you're someone who is on a lookout for things that make people uncomfortable, or something that stops the process or pauses the process. So an example would be, let's say you are a podcast editor, and one of the things that usually slow everything down is that, you know, the host or the person who's doing the podcast always repeats himself over and over again when doing the intro and the outro. So then that solution could be that they just record it once and you edit it inside. So inside of the episode. So that's what I mean with look for the problems, look for the things that cause friction in the workplace, because that is something that you can improve on. And then this is a concept that I love talking about also, is before you complain, solve it. When you're about to complain about something, that means that that's a problem. That means that that is a source of friction. That means that is a source of headaches also. So before you complain, try to think of ways, okay, how can I solve this? How can I, you know, put in what I know about the world, what I can know about this company, what I know based on my experience, and how can I move this forward? And this is a huge one if you are someone who wants to become indispensable, is you need to erase "it's not my job" from your vocabulary. Now, let me know in the comments if you are someone who has said this before. Are you someone who has said "it's not my job"? Let me know. I would really love to get your honest feedback, and I would explain afterwards. I'm going to pause and drink. Are you someone who has said "it's not my job" before when it comes to working? So let me know. I'm just pausing and drinking. So, because it hurts you. That's why you need to stop saying it. It actually hurts you. That's actually, I'm gonna come back with you on that, of like saying that you're bida or never. I love that, actually. I love that response. But in reality, when you say that it's not my job, it hurts you rather than grows you. Because when you do that, when you say it's not my job, oh, that's blah blah blah's job, why are you asking me about it? It actually hurts you, because then you're less and less the person that they go to when there is a problem. You're less and less the person that they can depend on or trust, because you'll say that. And as an employer, honestly, it gives me a headache when people say that to me. When people that say that, oh, it's not my job, why are you giving these to me? Because that is stopping me for to see you as someone more than the position that you are in. It stops me from thinking that you're someone that I can trust to grow yourself later on. I don't have, it makes me think like, should I monitor this person more? Why is this person thinking in this way? Why is this part of their mindset? It really hurts you more than anything, because when you're someone who's willing to try things, when you're someone who's willing to help, at the very least willing to help, then again, you're someone who's, again, easy to hire. You're someone who's easy to promote, easy to give a raise, easy to give a bonus even. Like, honestly, for me as an employer, I've given more bonuses to people who just get things done even without me asking, even especially when it's not their job, especially when it's a someone who's usually doing marketing and helped something when that was so outside their scope. It could be bookkeeping or something weird like that. So when you're just willing to help, when you're willing again to give value, it's going to help you in so many ways. So that's why you really need to erase "it's not my job" from your vocabulary, because it will hurt you so much from your manager's brain, from your boss's brain, when you do say these words. Now, you can set boundaries, for sure, set boundaries, but try to at least pause before you even say this to see if you can help them. Not just say, it's not my job, I'm not being paid to do that, because again, that will hurt you more than anything. Okay, so Melanie says, I'm not saying that to my co-employee, but not my boss. That will still reach your boss eventually, especially if they said, oh, I asked for Melanie's help on this, but she actually said no. I'm not sure who else to turn to. Those things reach your boss eventually. So again, just keep that in mind of having that growth mindset, having that way of thinking that you are someone who's infinitely growing. You're someone who has so many opportunities, especially if you're working online. So saying "it's not my job" will hurt you, especially if your boss knows about it or hears about it. Next is, if you want to stand out, you need to be honest. So one of the things that I teach our foreigner employers, well, clients, who are from the US or from Australia or the UK, one of the things that I teach them is sometimes Filipinos can get really shy, and I'm myself included. And before I was even aware of this, and it was even my mentor, who's an American, who pointed this out, is because we really want to get, we want to show that we did a really good job, we sometimes tend to cover up when we mess up. We end up covering up when things go wrong and not just tell them that things went wrong. And please let me know in the comments if if what I'm saying makes sense to you. Is we tend to either the most main one is cover up, or panic and not do anything, or freeze, or and this is coming from how it's just part of our culture. There's even, and this was very terrifying for me to know when I started hiring online, was there's actually something called the disappearing Filipino trick. And I experienced this multiple times, where basically I could be on a job interview, a final job interview, and I ask an applicant a specific question. They can answer it, and they drop the call. That's what they mean by disappearing Filipino trick, is all of a sudden they don't hear anything from their VA or from the person that they outsource to. So that is sadly something that, again, terrified me when I found out about it. That's why when I'm doing these trainings, I'm really asking you guys, don't do it, and just be honest. A lot of the time, your boss will just be okay with it. We'll actually be like, oh, okay, so that happened, okay, so then we can move forward, or thank you for letting me know, this is how we can solve it. A lot of the time, especially if you have a good boss, they'll see like, oh, that's good, you learned this, now we can move forward, now you can avoid this mistake in the future. You want to be someone who is open and honest, because then your boss will be more open and honest with you, your coworkers will be more open and honest with you, and isn't that what makes a really good workplace? So again, I'm really trying to share this information because it was so surprising for me to find out as a Filipino that there was such a thing, that they call it the disappearing Filipino trick, where it could just be solved by being honest, by being open with your employer. Next is you want to learn how to take responsibility. This is something that as I've hired employees online and as I've worked with clients who want to hire employees online, this is something that they just say over and over again. I want someone who's self-responsible. I want someone who takes ownership of this job so I don't have to worry about it. So if you want to be indispensable, you want to take responsibility for the things that you're doing and not just, again, and not say it's not my job. Next is you want to ask yourself, can I give more? What else can I contribute? How else can things go better based on what I know about myself, the company, and the world? You want to see what are the ways that this company can grow, with me, because then you are evolving to be that person that they think about, like, this and so is such an incredible problem solver. I really want to work with her more. I really want to have so and so be the person who heads this project. So that is what I mean by asking, can I give more? And of course, learn to take initiative and anticipate needs. What I mean by this is learn to be the person who notices patterns, notices that if your boss says this, then this is what they expect to happen. This is what they expect to see. So that's what I mean by taking initiative and anticipating needs of your boss, of the company, or your coworkers, whatever that looks like. And of course, like I said, just learn to see patterns. Learn to see that if this happened, usually this happens. If that happened, this is what's going to happen next. So I do have a little challenge for those who have stayed this long. And like I said, I do have books at the end that I recommend reading. So the homework or challenge that I have to learn how to be more indispensable at work is look at your current skills, assess which skill that you're good at and which one you're not. And then you want to pick one skill you're committing to working on in the month of March. What is that one skill that you've always been interested in, or one skill that you kind of tried to learn but you didn't continue, and commit to working on it in the month of March. And then you can post it. You can post saying, I commit to getting better at blank on Facebook with the hashtag I am indispensable, hashtag FHMoms, and tag my page and of course the FH Moms page. And I would just love to see whoever would be. Today's only March 4th, and I would love to see who is willing to commit to their growth for this month, who is willing to see what else they can do. And if you don't want to post it, you can comment it as well in this video on YouTube or on Facebook. Just say, I commit to getting better at blank. What is that thing that you want to commit better? It could be a hard skill. It could be a soft skill. It could be anything right now. But the point of it is to have that growth mindset. Is to know that you're constantly growing. You could be, 20 years old. You could be 55. You could be 65. I've had coaching students who were 70 and were willing to see what else they can do online. So it's definitely possible for you to start thinking in this way of, I just commit to getting better at this. And that is the first step to becoming indispensable, is knowing that you can keep growing. So I do have a few recommended books, like I said, that I to be able to study. Those books are all available on National Bookstore or Fully Booked, or if you have a Kindle, then it's on Amazon. It's book How to Win Friends and Influence People, Mindset, Linchpin, Leaders Eat Last, and Dare to Lead. You can read any of these books and you'll already start thinking of ways of how can I give value. So that is it for tonight. So please let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this particular topic of how can you be someone who they look at as someone who can be easily promoted, easily given a raise, even given a bonus, or someone who's easily employed. Please let me know as I kind of try to scroll through and see if there were any questions that I missed. So Zara said, I experienced that from my previous supervisor and it really sucks when I heard those words from her, knowing that I am still a trainee back then. See? So even you guys have probably experienced having someone say to you first, that's not my job. Why are you giving that to me? Because then that shows that they're not someone who cares about what they're doing. They're just someone who's here to pick up a paycheck. Which, of course, if a company is growing, they need people who are willing to invest more into the company so then they can invest back. So Jelly just said, I'm good at sponging skills. That's a really good word. And knowledge. I'm not good at disagreeing. I commit to overcome my timidness and be who I can be. That's awesome. That is the perfect thing to commit into. And like I said, it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to say, this is not something that I can do. This is something that's beyond my scope. Or to just say, like, no, that is okay. It doesn't have to be all the way, it's not my job. Just say, oh, no, I can't do this right now. I'm doing this. Or it could just be like, oh, this is something that's beyond what I can do. Maybe so-and-so can help. So it can be, that's a fix to the, don't just say it's not my job. We have Karina who says, I commit to getting better at time management and would love to give more time in learning graphics design. That's perfect. That's just perfect, Karina. That's a really good, that's a soft skill and a hard skill. So you combined both. So that's really good. What else? Let me know. What else are you committing to for the month of March? What skill or soft skill that you want to learn. So let me know. And again, feel free to connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and now TikTok if you want to learn more or just ask me some questions. How can we improve communication skills? So like I said, I do have a whole training, and I'm going to do that specific training on May. So May, what's the first Thursday of May? That would be May 6th. So May 6th, I'll be doing the written and communication skills training. So make sure to catch that. But let me see if I can find that slide even. So just so it's giving you a little bit sneak peek about it. So here, communication skills for working online. Best practices is if you want to be a good speaker or you want to have better communication skills, you need to be a good listener. So be able to ask questions, be open to their ideas. Just because you have your own doesn't mean that theirs has to be closed off. Learn how to summarize. So if you have a meeting, make sure that you go back and forth like, okay, you're really committing to this, right? Or it could be just summarizing what you talked about. It's about showing up consistently and learning more about how to become a better communicator. It's being kind. It's having empathy. That's how, you've probably have bosses before who seemed like they were a really great speaker, but they never listened to you, or they were never kind. Then they really didn't have really good communication skills. You want to learn to personalize. So sending emails, you want to make sure that you say their name. In the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, nothing is sweeter than hearing their own name. So that's why you want to personalize. You want to double check the message. Double check for grammar, double check for how they would receive it, and of course where you're sending it to, and then practice and get feedback. So those are my tips on how to be better communicating. And again, I do have a whole training on it. I'm going to be doing it on May, on the first Thursday of May here in FH Mom. So please feel free to watch out for that. So any other, and let me stop sharing here. Any other questions on soft skills, on how to develop yourself? And by the way, 2 Thursdays from now, technically, on the 18th, I will be doing a training on how to market yourself online. So make sure to watch out for that. Still here at FH Moms. And that's going to be basically tips on how to show up online and how to basically just be seen as a rock star. Especially if you don't have any experience at all to speak of. I'm going to be covering how to show up on online, how to show up with your branding, how to show up as this person that people want to look up to or want to hire even online. So make sure to catch that training as well. Let me see. I commit to get better at hard skills. I'd love to do extra mile and everything. That's really good. I'm a full-time helper here in Hong Kong. So much interest in learning new skills, especially in leadership, so I can apply it to NGO I belong as ambassador. That's perfect. So leadership skills is one of the soft skills that a lot of people think should be natural, but it can be learned. It's something that you can develop later on in your life as well. So yeah. Celine says, I now know what is missing in my equation, the commitment and willingness to take action. Yes, because you probably, and for a lot of you, have watched the 3-day FH Moms training on how to work from home. But if you're not willing to actually do the things that MK has specifically told you to do, you're not ever going to get a job. You're just someone who just has this knowledge on how to get a job. But if you're not willing to actually, create your account, you're not actually who's willing to send an application letter, that job is not just going to come to you. That never happens. It has to be that you're the one taking action to move yourself forward, whatever that looks like. Let me see. So again, this is available on replay on the different pages that this is shared into, and also the YouTube channel. So feel free to go back and listen through the training that I just did. But if like, yeah, just basically let me know if you have any more questions or anything else that you're committing to when it comes to your growth this March. Marie says, I commit in overcoming my shyness and procrastination. That's perfect. On procrastination, because this is something that I'm sometimes still really bad at, even though I've been running my own business for a while. To solve procrastination, and this is from a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he says that if you are procrastinating, spend 2 minutes on it. Just spend 2 minutes on working on that thing. And if you still hate doing it, just pause or assess, why do you hate doing this? Or you can just jumpstart, and now you're flowing. Now you've started that momentum. So you can even put a timer on your phone for 2 minutes and just say that you are going to do this. Yes, Karina, willingness to learn and goes hand in hand with willingness to take action. That is true. That's literally anything in life that you want to do or learn. Let me know. Any other questions? Ooh, how to overcome fear of interviews. Really good question. So let me know if you all want me to do this a little bit deeper. But I know MK does have a part of the 3-day series is also how to overcome fear of interviews. But the first tip that I usually give, like my coaching students or anyone who asks me, is just to arm yourself with knowledge. So what I mean by arming yourself with knowledge, try to look at what are the top 10 questions that usually is asked during interviews. So it's, tell me about yourself, or where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's what are your strengths and weaknesses? Practice them. So that's your first part of arming yourself with knowledge. The second part with arming yourself with knowledge is research the company that you're about to be interviewed in. Then you want to learn their goals, what is their why, where they're going. So then you can attach yourself to that narrative and see and help them see why hiring you would help them get to their goals. I love it when I do interviews and they say, oh yeah, I looked at your YouTube videos and I really love what you believe in. Or they'll say, oh, I looked at your website and I saw this and this and this. When people tell me that, I'm super impressed. I'm then looking forward to having them in my company because I know there's someone who does the research. I know there's someone who wants to have knowledge. So that is always my tip. If you are someone who wants to get better at interviews, is 2 things. Practice the top questions, that interview question that they're going to ask anyway, and arm yourself with the knowledge of that company, of what they're standing for, what they're going into. Next, let me see. Mary Jane says that she commits to building to her self-confidence. Marisha says, I commit to overcome my fear in speaking in public and be the best version of myself. That is amazing. Ate Rich says, I commit to never stop trying and learning, to be more courageous and stop self-sabotaging. That's awesome, Rich. So for me, my theme, because I always set a theme for the year, is actually courage. So that's actually perfect. It's the courage to pursue the things that I want and to say no to the things that I don't want. So that's my theme, and that's a perfect way to say that. Stephanie, let me know if I'm saying that wrong. I commit to watching more of something like this to change my career from being a full-time mom to becoming a career woman as well. That's amazing. And it is, again, one of the tips is just learn from a mentor, learn from someone who has been where you are and has what you want. It's not just about following all of these millionaires with their jet planes and all of that. It's also about following someone who went through what you went through. It's going to be harder for me as a 25-year-old Filipina who comes from a middle-class family to follow what Donald Trump did, because he is a white male from the US who already had, his family already had a business. I can't follow his path. It's so much harder for me to follow that path, but it's going to be so much easier for me to follow path from the women in, if you're in there, the women in Connected Women. It's going to be easier for me to follow the path of other Filipinas or Asians who started where I was and now has what I want. So keep that in mind when you're trying to also find mentors. Next, let me see. Faith says, I commit on building my confidence in learning graphic design. That's perfect. That's really good. Zara says, I commit not to get frustrated until I get the job I deserve. Yes. a lot of it is patience game. Like I would hear, students or people who said that, oh, I've been trying to find a job for the last 8 months, and then I asked them, how many times a week do you apply for jobs, or how many times a day do you apply for jobs? It's really more about quantity of, it's there's a quote that I really love, which is consistency versus intensity. A person who sends out 100 job applications on Monday is going to be beaten by the person who just sends 10 a day but consistently. So that's one of the things that you really want to keep in mind when it comes to getting the job you deserve, the career that you deserve. A lot of it is just patience and being more consistent rather than being intense and all out and stepping back or passing out afterwards. Mary Jane says, learning new skills and improve myself to start online job as a preparation for going home for good. That is perfect. And if you're an OFW, thank you for your sacrifice for your family. Thank you for wanting to have your family to have a better life. Like I said, my dad was an OFW and I missed him so much, but I would not be who I am if he did not do that, if he was not striving to give us a really good life. And also, it's my dad's birthday, so I'm just have lots of love for him today. So I guess that is it. It's already 9 o'clock. I don't want to take you all too long. Thank you so much for watching this training. Again, I'm going to be here again on March 18 with basically a training on how to market yourself online, which includes your branding. It includes basically how to show up better when you're applying for a job, how to be someone that they, when you're sending the email, you catch their eye of like, I want to work with this person. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. And again, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Parang may nagkaroon ng time na nawala yung self-worth ko.
You have to work to help your husband with the finances, to help prepare finances for your children for their future.
Kasi dito sa Pilipinas, pag age mo ng 35, wala na. Para kasing etsapwera ka na.
And it feels like hindi ko alam kung paano ko mag-gain yung confidence ko pag naging mom na sila. Parang nawawala na yung career path nila.
Kasi na-fed up ako sa sobrang traffic. So, papasok, dahil madaling araw, either mag-grab ako or mag-aangkas, which is malaki-laki yung expenses.
The time spent with your kids and family are far more important than any job title out there.
Nag-decide ako na maghanap ng online job at nakakuha nga ako. Sobrang saya ko talaga. Kaya tinulungan ko rin yung iba kong mga mommy friends at nagkaroon rin sila ng sarili nilang online job. Kaya doon ako na-inspire at nag-decide na simula ng Filipina home-based moms.
FH Moms Community was created for mothers, for single women, for women professionals and entrepreneurs, for women overseas Filipino workers, for differently abled women, and even for young at heart women. FH Moms is a women community.
Nung nagsimula yung FH Moms, hindi ko in-expect na ganito ka magiging malaki. Ngayon, meron na kaming more than 250,000 members nationwide. Dati, ang tingin ng mga tao sa amin, community lang. No? Ngayon, social enterprise na kami with different projects na tumutulong sa mga kababaihan.
We have free webinars about freelancing, entrepreneurship, parenting, and personal growth. We offer online short courses as well as mastery courses with trainers' 1-year support. We also run a scholarship program and an internship program. We also facilitate charity activities where we are joined by community members as volunteers. Job matching program is something they can also look forward to, as well as e-commerce program. And to celebrate motherhood, we also have online bootcamp for kids. We also have the computer rent-to-own program for members who need assistance in acquiring a computer set. Aspire to be a strong-willed, independent woman.
Mas gusto kong maging productive at saka naniniwala ako sa continuous learning.
Inspire other women.
Everyone was uplifting each other. Everyone was trying to help each other. In this world, you have to be more kind. you have to be more helpful because everyone is fighting their own battles, and you have to understand, you have to empathize, and that is what is FH Moms is doing with all the moms out there. Even if you're not a mom, you would feel welcome.
Empower each woman to be in their fullest potential.
And most importantly, Mommy MK and the team model humility and generosity. Talagang ito yung very evident, which impacted me the most. So it gave me the desire to share freely to others what I learned freely from the FH Moms community. And I've always loved the community, the motive of the community, that is to change the world one mom at a time. Good job, FH Mom.
Aspire, inspire, empower. Nothing is stronger than a community of women lifting each other up.
To be among women who have genuinely tried to help people. This is something that I feel passionately about, and then this is something that I saw in FH Moms.
God is good. Kasi parang naturo sa akin to FH Moms na pinakita sa akin na kahit nasa bahay ka, kahit nasa nag-aalaga ka ng anak mo, it won't stop na dun ka lang. Yun lang yung pwede mong gawin.
Without this community, I'm not here in this situation. So FH Moms po yung nag-guide and nag-mold sa akin to be the best working at home mom I could ever be.
Ang pinakamalaking impact sa FH Mom sa akin is their quote, which is moving forward, giving back. That's the very essence of FH Moms eh.
That's what I like about this group kasi we encourage and inspire each other to keep dreaming, to chase our dreams. It's actually a big impact kasi if you are losing hope and wala ka ng gana and all, but because of this page, mapapasana all ka.
Dahil sa online job, natupad ko yung mga pangarap ko at ang pinakapangarap ko na lang ay matupad yung pangarap ng lahat ng mga mommies. Huwag tayong titigil na abutin lahat ng mga pangarap natin, masipagan pa natin at huwag tayong susuko. Kaya kung feeling nyo hindi kayo techie, feeling nyo hindi pasok ang edad nyo para dito sa online freelancing, huwag nyong iisipin yon kasi sobrang daming opportunities ang pwedeng ibigay sa inyo online. At nandito ang Filipina Home-Based Moms para suportahan kayo. Para sa mga naghahanap ng online job at gusto ring matuto pagdating sa online business, you can join Filipina Home-Based Moms Facebook group. My name is MK Bertulfo, CEO and founder of Filipina Home-Based Moms, and our goal is to change lives one mom at a time.
And then, nung nag-decide na ako mag-enroll sa course ng FH Mom, doon ko na-find out na ang laki pala talaga ng diferensya. Kasi, mas marami kang matututunan talaga. Wala pa sa 1/4 yung matututunan mo dun sa free, sa matututunan mo dun sa courses ng FH Mom. Kasi, iti-train ka na nila sa mismong actual tool na gagamitin mo sa mismong trabaho. Tsaka halimbawa, ituro man nila sa iyo yung isang tools, medyo similar na rin yung ibang mga tools. So, parang kahit yung client mo, ibang tools yung ginagamit niya, mas mananabigate mo na rin kasi parang familiar ka na dun sa mga ginagamit. Ang laki ng naitulong niya kasi instead na mangangapa ka pa kapag nakakuha ka ng client, nangyayari, prepared ka na. Kumbaga, well-equipped ka na. So, hindi yung magiging gastos mo dun sa mga courses, hindi siya technically gastos eh. Investment mo siya sa future mo, sa career mo as home-based. Kasi the more na marami kang skills na natututunan, the more na nalalaki yung potential income mo kasi the more nararami yung client na pwede mo ma-handle.
Are you ready to start your journey to success? Enroll now to FH Mom's Mastery Course. For only 3,500 pesos per course, you can enjoy the following perks. 1 month intensive training about your chosen niche. 1 year access to platform's premium features. 1 year access to course modules and materials. Get your certificate of completion after your graduation. 3 months guaranteed support from your trainer. Access to all job ads exclusive to FH Moms alumni. And be the first to know FH Moms offers promos, discounts, events, and new projects. Check our Facebook announcement about the available courses, course outlines, enrollment instruction, enrollment requirement, payment method, date of the start of classes, course duration, and other important information. Thank you for always choosing FH Moms. Enroll now!
This is something FH Moms has been continuously doing. We've been equipping women to take on jobs like this. So this is something that really, inspired me, and it helped my professional relationship as well, because since then, I've been able to talk to a lot of people, to connect with people. Therefore, having this, connections and network would help me as well in my business that I'm trying to build right now.
I decided to enroll to VA training. Sobrang after nun, as in, parang ngayon yung graduation namin. Kasi while on training, yung papatapos na yung medyo may alam ka na, nagtatry na rin ako mag-apply sa onlinejobs.ph kasi as advice din naman yun ng mentor namin na since mayroon ka ng mga natututunang new skills, pwede mo na yan i-update sa profile mo sa online jobs. So, ang nangyari, ngayon yung graduation namin, kinabukasan, nagka-work na ako kasi tumawag ka agad sa akin yung boss ko, yung boss ko ngayon, in-interview ako right there na hire na ako agad.